What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for My Bots on Missed Opportunities. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Missed Opportunities is the map where we have to clear out terrazine geysers for Stetmann's bots to harvest. Then we have to protect said bots from enemies. If we lose more than one bot on brutal difficulty, we lose the game. Boom bots and kill bots spawn from enemy buildings. Boom bots explode nukes when they touch anything you own. They can only be defused by entering a code which only one player can see and only the other can enter. Kill bots are invincible and must be fed your dudes to deactivate.
So lots of bots here, the harvesting bots, the boom bots, and also the kill bots. We also have a co-op bot, Twotuuu. This is a co-op with us today. How are you today?
I guess.
I guess what?
So, it's alright.
It's alright. Well, that's still better than me. Oh my goodness, I feel so drained. I'm so exhausted already. So yeah, you notice I arrived later than usual because I picked up my wife from work, and that was 2 hours of driving through the worst traffic in the world. I wish I was exaggerating. It's actually the worst traffic in the world. Anyway, where was I? Yes, Commander tiers. So, how will we rank the commanders this week?
This is basically a killbots tier list with bonus points for clearing, since unlike Mal Warfare, you can full clear this map.
That's true. You can full clear this map. For me, there are 3 jobs here. First is full clearing the map quickly before it gets out of hand with the boom bots and the kill bots. The second job is to feed the kill bots. And the third job is to give vision for the boom bots, because getting vision far ahead is one of the keys to defusing the bots before it's too hairy to do anything. So if you get 3 of those, you're A tier. If you get 2 of those, you're B tier. If you get 1 of those, you're C tier. If you don't get any, you're D tier. Simple enough. Let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
So for Abathur, he's okay against killbots. People think because he's Zerg, he's good. He's actually not that good. He feeds with evolution chambers or Queen's creep tumors or swarm hosts auto casts, but those are kind of like later on, so it's mostly just evolution chambers. He has brutalists and leviathans, which are very good for clearing. His killbot options are better than most, and he can disable toxic nests so that he gets vision of boombots in advance. So yes. I think if boombots walk over a toxic nest, it'll explode, but if you turn off the autocast, it won't explode. So yeah, I put him in A.
Yeah, I put him in B because I gave him half a point for vision of the boom bots and another half point for clearing the map fast. But I gave him a full point for feeding the kill bots. So how fast can you clear with Abathur? With just
I don't know
your ultimate evolutions.
I guess you would have to check the speed runs of this map, just the map, but I don't know how fast you can clear.
The speedruns also have to factor in how you kind of can't let too many boom bots detonate on your ultimate evolutions, because they're kind of your main force on the field, and if you lose them, you need to gather biomass all over again. That's my consideration. That's why I didn't put them in A.
They should never detonate on your... They should never detonate.
They should never detonate.
So one thing you can do, just like propagators, is you have a list of timings. Just have it like on a piece of paper or on a second monitor, and when the timing gets close, you walk away from all buildings, and then when they spawn, then you continue.
Walk away from all buildings.
That's the safest way to attack.
I don't know. It's you kind of can't look everywhere all at once, including to the side of your screen where all your timings are written. I'm still not sure whether I would put him in A, because well, actually, if you scale, you probably have some guys in S. I don't have anyone in S this week because boom bots are a thing. So the highest is A tier, and he's a tier below those guys, so I put him in B. Do you have
Yeah,
guys in
I
S
can't. I
tier?
have S candidates because I don't like. You can't factor in uncooperative allies into this. It's just you have to just assume that your ally is cooperative because if your ally's not cooperative, it doesn't matter who you use, you're not going to win. So
That's
I'm
true.
not factoring that in at all.
That's true, but that kind of factors into an S tier because an S tier makes things easy. And my rationale here is that no matter which commander you use, it'll never be easy. So there's no S. That's my reasoning.
All right.
So, okay, I'm willing to put him in A tier for now since he is one of my best in B tier. He does have qualities of the A tier commanders, so I'm willing to put him in A tier for now and then consider later. Prestige is the first one, or sorry, the no prestige or the second one.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Alarak, I have him pretty good at clearing because he has the mothership, and that's inexpensive. That will allow you to still get havocs and probes to feed the killbots, and you can kind of get a force of I don't know destroyers. The mothership can clear and defend at the same time, but as to giving vision for the boombots, he doesn't really have a lot of good options. Maybe you can have destroyers on the unpathable terrains, and for killbots, he's really no better than average commanders, so I can't really give a point. So for me, he's C tier.
Okay. I don't think he's that good at clearing because, like, you need money to get a big enough death fleet. Early on you can clear the small encampments with just a mothership, but like as you get deeper, where there are hybrids and stuff, and especially like the spellcasters, the top right area and the very final base,
Yeah,
you will need money. And if you're feeding, then you're not getting any. Then you don't
army.
have much. You don't have many minerals,
That's
and
true.
you still have to defend the objective.
That's
So
true. That's true.
the if you're spending a considerable amount of money on clearing the map, then you don't have much money on
Beating.
Alarak, and he's defending the bots, and you also have to pay attention to both sides, which is kind of hard for a lot of people.
Yes.
So you have to macro focus on Alarak and focus on the mothership and like avoiding boombots, hope they don't explode, whatever those
In
things.
your face.
Or like even if killbots show up, they don't kill you, but you're gonna lose like a destroyer or two trying to run away. I put him in D because he's one of the ones that suck against killbots. So yeah.
He wasn't very high on C tier for me to begin with, so I'm okay putting him to D tier. So it doesn't really matter what prestige you use, but just use the third one, Shadow of Death, because that's pretty much his only good prestige on most mutations. Arcturus, where do we have him?
He doesn't clear very well, but he clears very slowly because ESOs aren't very good at clearing. And he feeds okay. Like he can survive quite a long time feeding, so that's good. ESOs kind of give vision
Yeah,
for the
Boombots.
bots, but like it's unreliable, so I wouldn't count on that.
Just drop one
Um,
guy.
I would yeah, I would say that feeding killbots is more important than
Then
but then
clearing.
like it's pretty important because if you don't feed them, you just don't even get to survive to clear the map. So
True.
getting like being able to feed so that you have more time or your ally has more time to like get an army to actually clear the map is really good. So I put him in C.
I actually have him in B. I give him a point for being able to see killbots because he can just drop or boombots because he can just drop vampires on top of the boombots. And I gave him another point for feeding because he can just feed the guys. But if that's his role, then he doesn't really clear. So that's 2 points for me. That puts him in B tier. What do you think?
I I don't think that you should drop troopers just to see the boombots. It's not worth it. Like
Just one trooper?
no. You do not want to lose anything that you don't need to.
Really?
So
So
it's like you're already strapped on cash trying to feed killbots.
so
Why
how
would you want to
about
spend more money?
how about 6 Earth Splitters, just to get vision of where the boombots are?
You can kind of see it, but like if it's you're gonna want Earth Splitters anyways to clear the map.
Yeah.
So I guess, but it's not reliable. So it's like you can kind of see it sometimes, and sometimes you won't see anything because it like just misses the circle. So it's it's not
Well,
reliable.
there's another method. If you have energy to burn, you can always use a contaminated strike. That will give vision for a longer time.
Yeah, that's not worth it either. If you're gonna you want to spend your energy on bunkers, so you get because bunkers is free money, right?
That's true. Bunkers is free money. It literally is free money. So you're saying that he only needs all his troopers are supposed to be for feeding and defending. None of them are supposed to be spent on going or getting vision for the boom bots. How about
I mean, you can. They're not that fast.
Yeah.
So you can just get vision when they're closer. Like normal, like usual. You can also
Normal.
fly your barracks and your factory over dead terrain because you don't use them anyways.
That's true. You can fly your barracks over dead terrain. That's another thing. So yeah, I think that still counts as a point for him because he does have many options to see the boom bots. Doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's like a lot of commanders can do that. Like it's an overlord or a barracks. What's the difference, right?
That's true. I guess the difference is, well, the guys who have overlords are really have other options for seeing them either way. To be honest, so we don't really
The
see
Protoss
that in
have
practice.
observers, so
I
it's
did
just
factor
Alarak
that
who
in.
doesn't have observers.
I did factor that in. So you're not considering it for B whatsoever.
No, I don't. I don't think he's that. He doesn't clear fast, and the only thing he's good at is being able to feed for a while, which is important but not as good as clearing. So people who are in B can clear and feed.
All right, let's put him in C then because you insist. Artanis, I have him in D. I should have put him in E. In fact, I wanted to put him in E because he kind of does counter help with the feed because he has expensive units and he doesn't really clear fast. He doesn't really feed, but he can siege observers to give huge vision range for the boom bots. So instead of E, I put him up in D. What do you think?
If the best thing he can do is siege observers to give vision, that's pretty bad.
Yes.
It's pretty useless.
Yeah, and D is pretty bad.
That's especially like, well, it depends which path, but like if the enemy sends detectors, then they might just die to like any like air-to-air units or something.
Anti-air unit, yeah.
They'll just die, and yeah. Artanis is E for me because he can't clear quickly, he can't really feed, and he can't really defend. But he's not hurting because he still helps in some way, so he's not F.
Yeah. We pretty much agree on not checking any of the boxes, but for me that's more of a D tier. Well, for me, he does check a box on being able to see the boom bots, but he counter helps, so he gets negative point on feeding kill bots. So for you that's 0, 0, 0. For me that's 0, -1, +1. So that also rounds out to 0. So I guess it kind of boils down to, is that D or is that E? We kind of agree on the same points, but just how you rate them.
Like,
yeah.
For Alarak, at least has a mothership, has an option to go help clearing. Like Artanis does not have an option. You can't afford Tempest unless you're not feeding at all. You're not gonna make Tempest. Like you can't afford Tempest.
Okay, so your deciding factor here is that he is a whole tier worse than Alarak.
Yes.
I agree with that. I did put him a whole tier below Alarak, but I put Alarak in C. So now, if he is a tier below Alarak, that puts him in D. I'm okay with that. I do think he is a whole tier below Alarak. And so far, I had Arcturus in B, I had Alarak in C, I had Artanis in D. So everything is just a whole tier below where I put it, except Abathur, who I also had in B, but we're putting him in A. So nobody's in B yet.
There's
let's
like a split. There's like a
yeah.
split.
That's why I think I think we should kind of I don't know. I don't know. We'll see later on. Dehaka, where do we have him?
The Haka, so he can clear, and his pack leaders clear a lot. They're very strong, and they don't really stop clearing if they're being hit by killbots. So like they can kind of ignore killbots and continue clearing entire areas and the neighboring areas. Just like, yeah, and for feeding, you just make drones and links. They're not great, so they're not like you don't get a pair for 50 minerals, but you don't really need the. You need like a few creeper hosts and stuff, and that's about it.
Not
I
primal
put him in
hosts.
B.
Not primal hosts for feeding.
No, no, no. You want creeper hosts to kill
For feed for
for
killing.
defending the waves. You want to actually kill.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I actually had him also in B. I gave him a point for clearing. I also gave him a point for seeing the boombots because he can just send a couple of explodey locusts, the baneling locusts. Not a lot, just a couple every wave. And that'll be enough to see because those things have 180 health. They can fly through a bunch of stuff. So, I also gave him a B. So, yeah, I guess we kind of agree. Which prestige? Second one?
I don't think it matters because you don't. I wouldn't say two is always the best here because if you need to defend and clear, then you want something that's not two because you might need the Haka on the field plus
A pack
the
leader
pack leader
elsewhere.
somewhere else. So I wouldn't say that any prestige is particularly better
Just pick your
than
favorite.
the rest.
All right, that's fair. Anyway, we both agree on B. Let's put him in B. Phoenix, I have him as kind of okay at feeding because I played it. I played him last time on that Mile Warfare one, and I could actually produce enough observers and workers at some point to just kind of feed them. Not excellent, but I think it's still kind of do the job, especially since you do get a discount. And partial point since he also has observers. So partial point for observers, partial point for cheaper units to feed the killbots. That's why I have him in C. What do you think?
I don't think you should use your hardware malfunction run as a reference because I stalled the killbots, which like for like 15 minutes. So that allowed you to not feed for like the majority of the early game, so you can macro instead of sacrificing probes.
Well, the difference
Which
here
matters.
is that Mel Warfare, I think, is a harder map to push forward because
Yeah, but I'm saying
the
you're saying
defense
you're
to hit.
able to feed because you were able to feed with because of the money, but I'm saying that you were able to get that much money because you didn't have to sacrifice eco in the early game
Yeah, that's why
since I was holding on.
that's why I only gave him a partial point, like a 0.5,
Yeah,
and then give him
so
another
I
0.5
yeah
for the observers.
so I'm saying I don't think his eco is good. His clearing is not that good. So if you're using like P2, you're gonna need money for shells for Caldalis, and
That's
at
true.
the same time, it's probably like you're gonna use like Caldalis plus observers, and that's it.
That's it.
And then your Phoenix suit will kind of defend,
Yes,
and that's about it.
that's pretty much all you can do.
So when you get to the farther bases, you're gonna need a lot of because it's Caldalis himself. You need a lot of shells to keep attacking.
Yes.
Because when like 15 units attack him at the same time because you're hitting like deep the heavier base, the more heavily fortified
He dies
bases,
faster.
he's not actually going to clear that
So you need more
efficiently.
shells.
That's why I like with Alarak, he has an air unit, so like half the units can't hit him. So he gets free reign, and the mothership has long range, whereas Caldalis has to directly engage. And
Yeah, it's melee
I don't
unit.
think that's very good. So I put him in top of E.
Top of E. Oh no. There's no way he's E. There's no way. He feeds way better than Artanis does. And he can also see like Artanis, and he doesn't anti-feed like Artanis. I think there's no way he's E for me. I could compromise with D. but I'm not gonna put him in E.
I don't see how Artanis is anti-feed if you choose to not use the first, second, or if you use the third prestige, he's not anti-feeding. So
I mean, yes, but he also has high health units and expensive.
okay, and what's the point?
So that's anti-feed.
You're not feeding with your regular units. Why would you ever feed with your normal units?
Because no, I'm not saying that you figure. I'm not saying that you feed with your normal. I'm saying that you need to spend money on units and then also feed with workers. So that's and your regular cost observers, and those are anti-feed because other commanders have at least a discount that you can work with, such as Phoenix.
Okay. His discount is like instead of 25.75, it's 20.60 for an observer. It's not nothing, but it's not a whole lot.
I think it's still.
And you can't use any, like, if you want other champions or something like stuff, you will have fewer observers. So like if you're feeding lots of probes, then you have fewer Caldalis. And the fact that you have to have like all your zealot shells in one area and they have to be like where you're attacking, hopefully no bots show up there too, because you can't really escape. And it's hard for him. Like, I guess you can have one Phoenix defending, but depends how hard the enemy comp hits.
I'm not saying he's great. I'm just saying he's not awful like Artanis. I'm not saying he's great. D is still very bad, right? We agree on that.
Yeah.
D is still bad.
Yeah, he's bad.
Right? I don't think he's he's bad. I also agree he's bad. I don't think it's
he
bad.
Was among the worst last time, right? Or I don't see how he's different this time.
Well, the map is easier, so pushing is also a bit easier. Actually, what was hardware malfunction again? That was kill bots and what?
Laser drill. Minesweeper.
Oh yeah, the Minesweeper I think is
suck against Minesweeper, which is not here.
Yeah. So I think.
I guess bottom of D.
Bottom of D.
It's like.
Yeah, I can concede that. Bottom of D. I'm okay with that. Okay, let's put in bottom of D. Prestige. He probably gonna use the second one because that's his only advantage versus Artanis. He feeds slightly better. Let's move on. Hot and Horner. Where do we have him?
Hot and Horner can kind of clear with strike fighters and feed pretty well, and that's it. So like Menx but better. So C.
So I also have.
I actually said that.
Yeah, I also have Hot and Horner at the same tier as Arcturus, but I put Hot and Horner in B tier. We kind of agree they can kind of clear, and they can kind of feed, and also they help their ally feed using the salvage. That's pretty good, and also they can kind of see the boombots coming because they can just either siege up Ravens or send airstrikes or a single airstrike if you have some to spare. That I think can kind of put them. Well, I had them in B, the same tier as Arcturus. But yeah, I think that
if
checks.
You have no airstrikes to spare.
The boombots, do they come that frequently? I mean, if you have 10 airstrikes per minute, and a boombot comes essentially
why would you not be clearing
once
the map
a minute.
with them?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. You don't need to send an airstrike every time there's a boombot, but when, for example, it's not close to your ravens, or it's in a really awkward spot, you do have that option.
Yeah, it's not a good option, but you have the option.
Yes, but anyway, we have them pretty much. I have them the same tier as Arcturus, which is B, but you put Arcturus in C. So I'm also okay with putting him in C.
All right.
First prestige. That's Hot and Horner's only prestige, probably. Or
yeah.
No. The third prestige is too expensive. No, that'll never work. All right.
No way.
Hot and Horner.
No.
Horner C tier. Karax, I had him in D tier because he doesn't really do anything. In fact, he counter feeds because of the repair beam and the unity barrier. And well, the opposite of that is he also has observers which help provide vision. So he's kind of in the same boat as Artanis. So I put him in D tier, same as where I originally had Artanis, but I suppose that's E tier for you, right?
Yes. I have him as the worst commander.
The worst commander.
He's the worst commander against killbots, and he's also very slow at clearing. And his defense is usually cannons, which I guess they're okay if you can feed. Otherwise, the killbots will keep slapping your static defense. So, not very good here.
Not very good. All right. I originally had him in D, but that's the same as where I put Artanis. So, in line with that logic, he follows Artanis in E. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan, her hero unit is very good. I would use P0 or P2 so you can clear. Feed, you can block with Omega Worms, and you can feed with Zerglings or Evolution Chambers, feed the killbots, or Creep Tumors if you want. Omega Worms can tank Boombot shots, two hits before they go down. I think it's 2 hits and a little bit. And then you can also like be everywhere and also keep clearing the map like all constantly, as long as you don't lose as long as you have queens for healing. So your queens can also just make a bunch of creep tumors and then spread those creep tumors to feed the bots. I put her in A.
I also put her in A, pretty much the same reason. Immobilization Wave clears out all the defenders. Well, I'm using no prestige here. Immobilization clears out defenders. The Zerglings can clean up the rest of the buildings. Omega Worms to tank and C Boombots. So that's everything. That's all the checkboxes: clearing, feeding, and seeing Boombots. So that's why I have an A. I didn't use any. I wouldn't use any prestige here. I might even use a third prestige here just to kind of help out against air. So there we go. Kerrigan A tier. Nova, she kinda does well in seeing the Boombots if you have Nova in the third prestige. She kind of feeds with workers, which is no better than anyone in D tier. I had her in the same tier as Alarak and Fenix. For me, that's C tier. But for what we're doing, I suppose that's D tier, right? Does she clear fast enough?
I don't know how fast she clears, but like, she is far better than any of the non-feeding commanders. Because her clearing is so good. So basically, with P3, you're just gonna be on the map everywhere. You're just gonna sabotage drone, and you kill all the static defenses, and then use like liberators or banshees, whichever one, to like finish off the rest of the buildings there, and you just keep moving. So you're constantly moving, not waiting for sabotage drones. You're just like move and then sabotage drone next area. Each encampment can pretty much be killed by one sabotage drone, right? And then eventually, when you get your nukes, you just nuke the final base, and you can do it without anyone stopping you. So it's really good. And as you walk by, you will see you probably see some boombots somewhere. So you get to like get vision of them as well, which is pretty nice. She doesn't really have anything to. She can help defend the objective, and she can help feed a little, but that's about it. So I put her in C because her clearing is very, very good, and that's important on this map.
Okay. I at least we agree on the third prestige. I just didn't think that it would clear fast enough, because what you did is you're constantly moving with Nova. That's probably what I should do. In the last base, the big nuke doesn't quite clear the buildings. The buildings have too much health, but they will clear.
Oh yeah, you clear all the enemies, and
then run wild with your units. Just kind of, but you are kind of leaving the bot to your ally, especially before like late game. because you gotta use your army to clear the building, so you can't use them to defend the bots.
Well, you just need like a pair of banshees or a pair of liberators. You don't need that much army to clear buildings, especially if all the regular enemies are dead.
I suppose. I mean,
And
I did
Ravens
also have
can
her in
help.
C tier, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Nova being in C tier because that's what we originally had her. So there we go. We're recommending the third prestige because what Nova should actually do here is just keep running around, not waiting for sabotage, or just use it when it's off cooldown. Just keep clearing entire areas using single sabotage rules. That is pretty tricky. So I would put her like a C star, maybe. Yeah, kind of a
Not
C
that
star.
tricky.
Not that tricky. I mean,
Is
when
it
you're
really
when
that
you're
tricky? Each little encampment.
I mean, when you're when you're
it's
when
like
you're
one
targeting
sabotage drone.
when you're targeting your sabotage drone, you also gotta move Nova. So I guess I'm too old for this, but okay, if you say so.
What? You press E and you press a circle and you just move in
Yeah,
the
but you have to
next
target the
general
sabotage
direction.
drone while you also move Nova, while also producing units, getting upgrades.
That's not that hard.
Okay, Mr. Young Person. Let's put Nova in C tier. Raynor, where do you have him?
But Raynor, he's like Manx and Han Horner, except he's worse than them. But he's just feeding. He's the feed guy.
The feed guy.
And his Duskwings and Hyperion can like clear
Help
some of the
clear.
farther buildings early on,
Yes.
so you can like at least get rid of that.
Yes.
And I guess for the top right, very top right, if you, after you clear it, just drop like a few Marines there, so that if they send SCVs or probes to try to rebuild, you kill them.
Yes.
Other than that, he's just mainly a feeding guy. Hopefully, the enemy doesn't have a lot of AOE.
You can also scan, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think like Rebel Raider's way too slow for this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna need like probably just regular bio.
Yeah.
Maybe vultures to like use spider mines on the enemies, which is okay too.
Mm-hmm.
But Rebel Raider's gonna be too slow. I put him in C.
Yeah, I also had him in C. I think I gave him half a point for feeding Marines. I also gave him half a point for scanning the boom bots.
No, don't scan. Do not scan.
Just build an extra orbital. Come on.
Every time you scan, that's 5 Marines. That's 200.
Okay, so if you don't want to scan, just drop a Marine. There we go. Problem solved.
Yes, you can, but
Just drop a
same
Marine.
thing as Manx. You don't want to lose money for no reason.
You have mules. Come on. You can afford it.
Just because you have money doesn't mean you should waste it. Just like people who play Zagara, they think, oh, my banelings are free, so I'll trade against Amon's Infested. It's like,
hey,
it's not a good idea.
I thought we agreed. I thought we agreed that we assume a cooperative ally. You don't have to solo this.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you should play suboptimally when you can do better.
So
That's
how do you spot boom bots if not scans or Marines?
Why do you have to spot them earlier? Why can't you just walk them when they get closer?
You spot them earlier so you can actually deal with them before they become a problem, because normal people feel stressed out when there's a boom bot near their army.
Alright.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, we agreed that tier anyway. We both have him in C, so I'm pretty happy with that. What prestige do you recommend?
0.
That's fair. Yeah, no prestige is fair. Alright. Stet Boy, I think he's really good for this. He checks all the boxes. He clears pretty well with Zerglings and Super Gary. You can even add Infestors if you want, or have the bandwidth to do that. You can feed with Zerglings. You can see with Zerglings and Stetlites. So I think he's A tier. What do you think?
I put him in S because he feeds, he clears, and he sees. So people think, oh, I should use P1 because I can see and I don't have to worry about the Stetlites exploding. That's very, very bad, because if you use P1, you lose your clearing power.
You use your Super Gary.
You lose your clearing power, so it's a very bad idea to use P1.
It's also very bad
Do not
because
use PM.
even if you lose, even if they hit your stud light, it retains its vision. There's literally no downside. You retain your
So
vision even if they blow it up, or even if they attack the stud light. So why? Uh, but here's the thing. I do think he's probably one of the best here. I don't think he's S tier because, as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't make it easy. He makes it doable, but you still need your ally to cooperate. I don't think I can put anyone in S tier this week.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still willing to put him in A tier though. So there we go. It's not unanimous, therefore it's not S. A tier. Have to rethink the Abathur one. Anyway, moving on. Stukov, where do we have him? Oh wait, second prestige. Stukov, where do we have him?
He doesn't even have to full clear. Like,
Yes.
you can just feed kill bots forever. So
And bots.
I put him in S. You don't have to kill.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill full clear. You should, but you don't
should.
have to.
I agree with your
should,
points. He does check off all the boxes. He can see using his infested. He can feed using his infested. He can clear using his infested. But same logic. I don't think anyone is S this week. It's good. I don't know. Are you gonna try to convince me that it does make it easy?
You're already convinced that no one's S.
Yeah, I'm convinced
Because
that
if
no one's
anyone
S.
should be S, it's Stetmann.
I agree. Well, yeah, Stetmann is one of those that I can put an S if if he can do it on his own, but no one can do it on their own. So there we go. Anyway, Stukov.
That's kind of odd considering for polarity, we put people in S.
I did put you and I think Stixbender,
Or Stixbender.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anyone. I might be wrong. I mean, it's 10:29. It's 10:30 p.m. where I am. I've just come off a very long day of work and traffic and stress, so I may be wrong on this one. But if you've seen one of my previous tier lists and I did put someone in S despite polarity being a thing, please let me know. Please correct me, but I don't think polarity or boombots deserve or should have someone deserve an S tier unless they're like really good at like stalling forever. Anyway, Stukov isn't that guy either way, so I think he's still A tier. Third prestige or no prestige? Third one, right?
Third.
Okay.
Third.
Swann, he's pretty bad. He doesn't clear that quickly. He doesn't feed. He doesn't see unless you have factories, but those are slow, and other commanders have similar options. So I had him in D. What do you think?
So your D is where I put E.
Yeah,
which is where I put him.
That's fair.
We were only able to defend because the enemy was weak.
Yes.
If it were a different enemy comp,
yes.
Immortals, no way.
Those who watched that video, you know what happened. The only reason we won is because Betty is really good against Zerglings. And like we resume from replay at the middle of the game. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. So his clearing is slow. It takes him time to get there. His concentrated beam is good, but if you don't know how to aim it, you're gonna like waste a lot of time. And if you hit nothing too many times, then like, yeah, you could have killed buildings and stuff, and then
yes,
yeah. So we had to practice that a few times to get the shots right, and
I did practice that a few times.
Worked out all right, and against a different enemy
there's no
race,
there's
you might
no way
have to shoot a different spot.
Oh yeah, you definitely do. The buildings are placed differently. Okay.
Yeah. I put them in E.
I'm okay with E. The guys we have in E are the same guys who I have it in D, and they're kind of in the same boat. So there we go. Also in E. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he is good at. Well, he's pretty good at clearing because he's so strong. And then you have one outlaw defending, one outlaw clearing, and that's pretty good. He doesn't feed very well, although like Sirius is gonna be near the bots, so I guess he's the defender plus kind of feeder. He can feed his turrets, save some money. Other than that, he doesn't spot for boom bots, so not at all.
Not
I
at
put him
all.
in D.
I put him in C because he does one job, which is clear. But yeah, the
I don't
guys we
think he
have
clears
in
better than Alarak. I think Alarak clears better than him
Alarak clears better than Tychus.
because Alarak his unit can fly.
I mean, okay, I did put Tychus in the same tier as I put Alarak, so there's that. Uh, I Tychus with Tychus and Sirius, can they both clear?
You can during the downtime, but
Yeah,
at some point you're gonna have to go back and defend the bots,
I
the harvesting
suppose.
bots.
Mm, I mean, I'm okay with D tier because that's I put Tychus in the same tier as Phoenix and Alarak, and Phoenix and Alarak just happen to be in D tier this time. I'm okay with that. Either top of D or I'll check. We'll see how the rest of C tier plays out. I think it's kind of getting crowded, so yeah, we'll put him in D tier for now. Vorazun, I had him in the same tier as Alarak, Phoenix, and Tychus. Very good at clearing, especially with the Shadow Guard during time stop, and they even revive once, so that's pretty nice. Otherwise, kind of garbage. So I put him in C tier. What do you think?
I put her at the bottom of D
Bottom of D.
for the same reasons.
Yep.
And if the enemy is like an air comp, you're gonna need Corsairs, or you just
Yes.
can't shoot them. So like stalkers are bad. You
Evil.
probably won't have money for cannons. So
No,
it's like
she doesn't feed
time
at
stop is
all.
good, but that's every 4 minutes, and
Yeah.
you can't really clear entire areas until later. But
Later game.
the good thing is that by the time you need to clear the last area, one time stop can clear a whole ton of buildings.
Several tons of buildings, to be fair.
So that's like the only good thing. So I put her in D.
Yeah. Same tier as where I put Alarak, Phoenix, and Tychus. So yeah, she's pretty much in that company. Zagara, where do we have him?
Um, A. Well, I put her in S, but it's gonna become A
Yeah.
for same reasons as Stukov.
Yeah. Same reason Stukov. Actually, I think she's almost better than Stukov because she clears I think slightly faster when she
Yes. Oh,
uses.
much faster.
Yeah. I think she's slightly better than Stukov. So A tier for me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Okay, Zeratul, he can he can just clear using his own unit, like the hero unit. He can feed using the watchers and the workers, but not a lot better. He can see. That's one thing he can do. He can see really well because once his watchers have the upgrade, they can see really far. So that's clear. Well, I gave him half a point for clearing and a point for seeing. So that's 1.5 points. I rounded it up. I put him in B tier. What do you think?
He only gets the extra vision if you're using not P3. But I
Yes.
think if you want to clear faster, I think you have to use P3.
Oh, you have to
P3
use
because
P3? The,
no, well, if he's just if he's just slashing normally, it's kind of slow killing buildings. It's not super slow, but it's not that fast. Like if you have some Dark Templar with you, then you can clear faster. But if you're just using the hero unit, it's actually not that fast clearing buildings. Um, he, you make with Zeratul against Killbots, you make like 4 Robos and 3 or 4 Nexuses and feed with all
feed with
your
all of them.
stuff. And for defense, I guess you can use a Legion. Probably don't want to though.
Yeah, I don't
So
want to. That's too expensive.
yeah, so it's actually kind of hard to defend and attack, unless I guess if you have an avatar, you can use the avatar of form, which is pretty good at defending.
A very thick High Templar.
Yes. If your ally has units, then use the essence, Avatar of Essence. That
To
will
buff
help.
them.
But
Yeah.
if you're the main defender, then use Avatar form. I put him in B.
Okay, we kind of agree on that at least. We both have him B. Okay, so whew. Does Abathur belong the same level as Kerrigan, Stetboy, Stukov, Zagara?
Well, I put Stetmann, Stukov, and Zagara in S,
Yeah.
and Abathur and Kerrigan were the same.
Huh. I think Abathur is closer to B, like Dehaka and Zeratul, than he is to A. Looking at these
Once you get
guys.
three Leviathans are really good at clearing everything.
I mean, yeah, they're really good, but like there are other jobs than clearing. Then again, he can feed. He can feed, but
Feeding is fine. His feeding is fine. His clearing is really good, and you can defend. Well, you can also turn off your toxic nest so you can see.
mm, yeah, I
He's
guess
not as good
yeah,
as Kerrigan.
yeah. I definitely think he's better than Dehaka and Zeratul. I guess I was saying whether he's closer to them than he is to like Zagara and Stetboy, but probably not fair. Uh, okay. Well, for me, I think he's probably bottom of A. If not top of B, bottom of A. Who's top of A? I would put. I'm almost
Stetmann.
tempted to put Zagara.
Stetman's better.
Stetboy's better. I think Zagara could be. Uh, Stetboy does have a lot of clearing. I guess the advantage Stetboy has is seeing. He can just drop stat lights along all the paths that the bots take, and you can see the codes right away. That's one thing he has that Zagara will never have unless you deep tunnel, but kind of wasteful. Alright, I'm okay with Stetboy being top of A. Zagara should be second, right?
Zagara second.
And then I think Kerrigan? Kerrigan is Kerrigan is Stukov.
I put Stukov above Kerrigan Abathur because you don't actually have to clear. It's definitely annoying with lots of kill bots, but you don't have to clear.
Okay, not really against that. I'm okay with that. And then
If a boom bot
Kerrigan,
touches, you're infested. So what?
and then we have Kerrigan, and then we have Abathur. I'm really
Yes.
tempted to stick Abathur down in B. Who's better between Dehaka and Zeratul?
Zeratul's better.
Zeratul's better? I guess Dehaka doesn't feed that much better. I think
Dehaka's not that much worse, but yeah.
I think Dehaka defends more easily. If you go for like a couple of Tyrannosaurs.
I don't know if you can afford that, especially the
Oh, that's
second
true.
wave of bots,
Oh, that's
the
true.
most
That's true.
important one.
Well, it's not like Zeratul's any better. You basically have an avatar, which is not really active all the time. I guess you could go Tesseract
Well,
monoliths. Mm. I can't really call it between. If you say if Zeratul's better, okay, let's go with Zeratul's better. Split them in top of B. Top of C. Who do you have top of C?
on Horner.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 Because he helps. He actually helps his allies feed. Are you sure you don't want to put Hot and Horner in B?
No. Oh yes,
You're
yeah. I
not
don't want to
sure?
put Han and Horner in B.
Almost had him.
Han and Horner, their clearing is not that good. It's kind of slow, and if you're using P1, it takes a while to get your first like wraiths or battle cruisers.
Okay.
And if the enemy is not favorable, you're gonna like bleed a lot of units that you don't want to lose. P1's still gonna be better.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. And then I think, well, if you say Nova's very good at clearing, then she should be second in C, right?
No, her feeding is close to 0, so she's not helping at all. So I don't.
So if Phoenix is more important,
Huh. But clearing is important, huh? Like extremely important.
very
So,
important.
huh. Actually, C is where you're like you do one of the jobs or like you do half the work.
So kind of
She
like,
does like more than half of the clearing work, but like less than half of the feeding work,
if any.
if any.
If any.
Uh,
I mean,
I suppose clearing has higher weight.
you know what?
It's more weight.
I guess it kind of depends what you like doing. If you like feeding, then go Raynor. If you like clearing, go Nova. So just, I guess, pick your favorite flavor of Terran. Hot and Horus the best in C. Then after that, pick your favorite flavor of Terran. Doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. All right, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Who's top of D?
Alarak
Alarak?
as a mothership can fly.
You think Alarak's better than Tychus here? I think Tychus might be better. Because he can clear two lanes at the same time.
Depends which stage of the game, but yeah, well, during the downtime, Alarak himself can clear one of the small encampments, just like how Tychus can clear two.
Kind of.
I know.
And they both just feed with workers, basically. But Alarak does have Havocs. So he has at least double the feeding potential. I guess down in D tier doesn't really matter. We can put Alarak and Tychus in a tie. And then Phoenix, then Vorazun. Or something else.
Phoenix Vorazun, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Phoenix and Vorazun. Alright. E tier. We have Artanis, Karax, and Swann.
I put him Swann, Artanis, Karax.
Swann because he has flaming betties. Swann, Artanis,
Because his
Karax.
beam, his concentrated beam is really good.
It is really good.
For what it's
That
worth.
is true. That is true. That is very nice. When we played Artanis and Swann, it kind of felt like Swann was a whole tier above Artanis. Or was it just because
Because
of
of the
the
enemy
flaming
comp.
Betty? Yeah. So
This is the enemy comp.
if it's literally anything else, they probably feel like where they are. So okay, I'm okay with that. I'm still tempted to put Abathur down to B tier, but anyway, doesn't matter. I guess it's just that big of a gap between the good commanders and the bad commanders. All right, guys, watch Twotuu's channel. I will link it down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, thank you to those who keep watching and liking the video. Appreciate that. Yeah, see you next time.